I just love the comments, good and bad. I'm so impressed with the comments from everybody out there. They're almost always on point. Most of them, many of them are thoughtful. Um, Very rarely are they mean spirited. It's part of the job that I actually really like. In fact, there's not much about doing YouTube videos that I don't like, quite frankly. So I'm going to answer a few of the comments today. Let me know what you think about the answers to the comments, but also put more comments and more ideas for future where I might do another show like this. I've done a few like this before. Tepid response. Not a lot of folks watch these, but I think they're worth doing from time to time, even if they get a low reaction. All right. Let me know this Randy Kirk, of course, in case you haven't figured that out, and put down you can wait to put the like until the end if you want, but don't forget to put down the like because it helps the algorithm. And then hit subscribe and notify. Tomorrow night, of course, Sunday night is usually the number one show of the week. And that's where we talk about the financial news that's coming up in the coming week. We talk about what's likely to happen with regard to the stock market, what's likely to happen with regard to Tesla. And of course, this coming week, we've got the Fed decision and Chair Powell's comments on Wednesday afternoon. I'm going to try to get Jeff Lutz in on Wednesday afternoon or Thursday morning to talk about all of that also. All right, listen, here are the there's one more thought just before we get into it. Don't forget about these. Okay, that's it. Okay, so we've got J Stoltz 6803. He says, here's a different view on the UAW strike. Big three issues: too much stock in the pipeline, meaning inventory, meaning cars, too much production for the market right now, and too much old brick and mortar. He says they'll take a PR hit no matter what they do. So the strike offers the auto companies an opportunity to address a lot of that. He says it will be a scapegoat for closing plants, cutting staff, clearing the pipeline with a little help from the Fed through their interest and tax breaks for the consumer purchases. And then 3 months could help them a great deal in preparing for the future. Kind of a reset with less of a PR hit. They could come out leaner and meaner than before with a reset on margin and production expectations. So, Mr. Stoltz, I think that there's a lot to be liked about what you just said. Yes, I think that this strike will probably go on for a while. I think that their new rabble-rouser president of the UAW is going to be a problem for the union in terms of how long they're going to be out, because he's asking for way too much, apparently. Now, maybe behind the scenes it's different, but from my understanding, the three automakers were saying that there was not even any kind of a response to their offers, even though they kept making additional and new offers. There was no response in terms of getting closer to the middle. So I think that the union feels like, no, they're going to go along with this guy's idea that they can really get a huge benefit out of this strike. And I think that the auto companies do have too much inventory on the floor in all of the dealers, et cetera. And yes, this could be an opportunity for them to do a lot of shifting around and planning. Good thoughts. But I do think, a 2 month or a 3 month strike is certainly within the realm of possibilities. Okay, then we have Sean London. I'm going to guess that's Sean London, 7566, says cheap oil is a bad drug. Once the price is high, renewables are able to accelerate. Well, here's the deal. I agree that cheap oil is a bad drug, but what is cheap oil? And who does cheap oil help? This is something that is really being missed in the entire argument. I don't care whether you're left, right, or center. Cheap oil helps folks that don't have a lot. Okay. If you make over $100,000, $200,000 a year, you don't care what the price of gas is at the gas station. You don't care what the price of heating oil is. Sure, it might mean you get to go out to dinner once less per month. No, it's not affecting folks that are in the upper middle class and the upper class, probably even those that are in the upper reaches of the middle class. No, it hurts folks that are middle class and lower, they have to make decisions about whether they get steak or beans. Okay. They have to make decisions about whether they can buy really what they want to for back to school. That's what oil prices, those are the folks that get hurt by oil prices. And then you go outside the United States and you talk about countries around the world, and now you're talking about folks that are actually really poor. No, that's oil prices hurt them when it comes to heating their homes this winter. Okay, so there's no chance there. I don't care what you do. You could make double, triple, quadruple the number of solar panels. You can make double, triple, or quadruple the number of battery packs. You can do all this stuff and just really go as fast and as hard as you can. We are still going to be using oil for 15 to 20 years for energy in one form or another, because you've got millions, billions of cars, a couple of billion cars out there that are not going to be trashed. They're not going to be junked for 10 or 15 years. So they'll be junked along the way, but we won't get to zero ICE cars until 2027. That's my number. And most people are saying 2029, 2030, 2031, 2035. So you're still going to be making lots and lots and lots of cars that are going to run off of gasoline. And you're going to have lots and lots of homes and factories that are powered by oil, powered by natural gas, et cetera. So we have to forget about the idea that this is a flip the switch type of thing, that if we just stop subsidizing oil, all of our problems will go away and we'll switch to electricity in a week. It isn't going to happen. Please tell me how you think it will. Just lay it out. A, B, C, D, E. Tell me how we're going to get to full electrification of the world's economy short of 2045. Now, we can be a long way along the way by 2030, according to Elon's Master Plan 3, but we are still going to need oil for a very long time. Therefore, inexpensive oil helps poor people. All right, next. Macros 4129 says, inflation is 20%. Should workers get 20%? Listen, the economy is always going to do that anyway. I am a great believer in letting the economy do what it's going to do. We're in a capitalist world. Even China now is heavily capitalistic. When you let the markets work, the markets work. If the prices go up 20%, the employees are going to demand 20% raises, because you don't want to pay your employees less than you paid them last year on a non-inflation adjusted basis. So think of it this way. All of a sudden, somebody's working, they're making $20 an hour. And the price of gas is $5 a gallon in California. And then next year, the price of gas is $7 a gallon. And they need a lot of gallons to get to your job, to get to where you are. And they still want to eat. They still have to pay the same rent. I mean, and the rent went up, the food prices went up, and now they have not enough money to pay their bills. Well, they're either going to have to find a way to make more money at your place, or they're going to have to go someplace else so they can make enough money to take care of their bills. That's how the economy works. So if you're a union and you're negotiating on behalf of the union members, you have to be able to stay up with inflation plus a little bit more, and that's how the economics would work out anyway long term. But you now have a bargaining group. I think that's enough on that for now. All right, let's go on to Litwa 579. The strike did nothing to help Tesla's stock price on Friday. Yes, this is true, except you have to really look at the macro. So many folks forget to look at the macro. Some of the big investors on X who are commenting all the time about why Tesla went up so much or why Tesla went down so much on any given day are always talking about Elon Musk statements or whatever. First of all, look at the macro. What did the NASDAQ do? What did the Magnificent Seven do? What are the other tech stocks doing? What is the overall market doing? What are the bonds doing? Take a look at the overall macro first. That's where you look there first. Okay. If you don't see anything there, and you see Tesla going down more than the macro, a lot more, not 2 times more, but a lot more than macro, are going up a lot more than the macro, are going up at a different time than the stock market is moving. Now start looking for the news, and you might find some news event that is causing that to happen. If you can't find it in the macro and you can't find it in the news, guess what? Some whale probably sold something. Might have been Kathy Wood. We'll talk about her later. Somebody had a question about her. So, no, on Friday, Tesla did extremely well compared to the NASDAQ and compared to the Magnificent Seven. It did really, really well on Friday. But for the NASDAQ being down, I forget what it was, a couple hundred points, I'm sure Tesla would have been up on Friday. All right, let's go on here. Speaking of Kathy Wood, I'm sorry, who's here? This is Tom Turnbull, 3723, says, having to sell off successful stocks to maintain a balance in the ARKK funds would mean that she's forced to sell good stocks and keep underperforming stocks. That makes no sense. Well, Tom, yeah, you're right. I mean, to me, in general, it makes no sense. But she has made a deal with the people who have bought her fund. Now, I'm thinking, I went and looked, and this deal, if you look on her website, the deal is not spelled out. There's nowhere there that says, I cannot hold more than 10%. So this is kind of a deal that's in the air, okay? And so if she's going to hold a lot more than 10% of any given stock, I think she would need to go to the community and say, look, in 3 months, I am going to take that off the table. I'm going to go to 15% or 20%, or I'm going to go to 100% if I think that that's the way to go on any particular one. But you realize that if you go less than 100%, then any number is going to still result in the same problem. So if she said 20%, then if she was at 25, she'd still have to sell off in order to get down to 20 and buy a lesser stock. Number two, I don't think she's really buying lesser stocks. I believe that Kathy and her team have a whole list of companies that they're very interested in that think will do very, very well. And so there's always going to be something that she's going to know where she wants to play if she has to sell off some Tesla. All right. Dwayne Java says, no mention of Mary Barris's $30 million salary, her 36% pay increase over the last 4 years. Well, okay, let's talk about the market again. How much are they paying basketball players these days? How much are they paying movie stars these days? Do they pay these movie stars and these basketball players based on some kind of, gee whiz, we just want to mess with the public and charge them more to get in? No, you're paying those people based on the fact that that's what the market is requiring in order to get that talent. Now, in Mary Barris's case, I may think that she has no talent and that she's horrible at what she does. But the truth is, if you look at her numbers right now, if you look at her current numbers, she's doing very well. Okay, she's got the company making a lot of money, and she's moving a pretty good amount of metal considering the times. Do I think her long-term plans are right? Do I think her thinking with regard to BEVs is right? Do I think that she's done a great job in terms of the BEV cars that they've brought to market so far? No, I think she's done a horrible job. But in general, she's done a very good job. And this is what you need to pay to get talent like Mary. All right. It has nothing, the stockholders won't think that, and it's not a headline that you can run. I'm just talking to my folks here who know way, way more about a capitalistic run society. You got to pay for the talent. And I don't care if that's, let me give you another example. In my companies and in everybody's companies, a lot of the folks in customer service or who work in the art department or whatever, a lot of them don't understand why salespeople get paid so much. Sometimes the salesperson in my company, sometimes I'd have a top salesperson that was making more than I was. Okay. And they're like, how come that, salesperson, he's just sitting in his car and driving around. Like, how come they're getting paid? Well, people that take risks get paid more. People that manage others get paid more. CEOs take risks and to manage others at a very high level, they get paid more. Okay. Kevin Obald. Kev the Obald. I'm not sure what that is, Kev, but Kev Theobald. Anyway, as far as government regulations, they are needed. When businesses are just allowed to treat employees however they want, it has gone poorly. We had to put child labor laws in place so they would quit using 8-year-old children in factories. Okay. Boy, I have so much to say on this. Number one, you have to contemplate what are the times. You have to think about what was going on in the 1900s that might be different than the 2020s or the 2040s or the 1800s. Times change. And so, yes, the populations, voters are going to say, look, we don't want 8-year-olds working in factories anymore. This is not good. We don't need it anymore. We're wealthy enough that we don't need to do this anymore. So therefore, we want to stop it. But by the same token, we can overregulate the heck out of everything. I had my first full-time Social Security paying job when I was 12 years old. I had lots and lots of jobs between the ages of 12 and 18, and those things prepared me to be as good as I was in the marketplace. I hate the fact that we don't have our kids out there working when they're 12, 13, 14, 15 now. They're being coddled until they're 26, living in their parents' group. Not my kids, but lots of kids. My 4 kids were working before. They were working for me before they were 18. Anyway, all right. But yes, overregulation is horrific, and it's killing us, and it's really killing us in California. And it's the only reason California is still the leading state in terms of most of the things they do is because A, they got more population, B, they've got more universities, C, they've got the best weather in the country. If they lose the weather, I guess that's not going to happen. If they keep on regulating the way they're regulating, more and more and more companies are going to move out. And it's going to be impossible to do business here. So it's horrible. Anyway, I would never go into business in California at any level where I had to have employees and stuff. Not a chance. Corinne Mello 2549 says, Randy, for a long-term investor not caring too much about the short term, you sure make a lot of videos on Tesla stock price. Okay, so Corinne, I have a whole range of folks listen to this channel. I have people that are day traders. I have people that only play options. I have people that only have a small portfolio, a small portion of their portfolio in Tesla, and they trade out of it just as fast as they think that they can take a profit. I got people that are 100% in, and they're going to stay in until 2030 and never sell a share. I've got people everywhere in between who have mixed portfolios of all kinds of types. I got people that are 25 years old. I got people that are 55, and I got people that are older than me. I know that seems impossible, but it's true. And so everybody's got a different place that they are in this deal. In 2020, I was day trading leaps. I made a ton of money day trading leaps in 2020. 2021, not so much. 2022, I pretty much didn't trade leaps at all. And 2023, I've got some leaps and some stock. I don't day trade or trade very much, but I do. I'm looking for opportunities. When you buy leaps, let's say right now I might have July of 2024 leaps. Right now, I'd be looking for an opportunity to get out of my July 2024 leaps and buy some January 2026 leaps. So you see, that would be my trade for those of you who are interested in leaps. All right, let's go on. Leslie Carter, 4295 says, he is a megalomaniac. Okay, so I looked it up just to be sure, because I said, no, he's not a megalomaniac. So here we go. So according to the first definition, megalomania is an obsession with power and wealth and a passion for grand schemes. I do not see any evidence of Elon having an obsession with power or wealth. In fact, if anything, he's got no home, so to speak. He's not collecting artwork or, building castles around the world. He has an obsession with moving the world into sustainable energy, with free speech, all kinds of obsessions. He's got a lot of obsessions. He's got a lot of passions. And then it says a passion for grand schemes. Now, that might fit megalomania if you have a passion for grand schemes. But I don't normally think of a megalomaniac as someone who has a passion for grand schemes. But that's part of the definition. That's not how I see it. Okay. And then it goes on, a second definition, a person who's obsessed with their own power. Again, I don't think Elon is obsessed with his power. I think he has a balanced recognition of his power. I think he recognizes that because he's the wealthiest man in the world, and because he has all these companies, and because he has control of those situations, then he has an opportunity to use his power in ways that he thinks are going to be furthering the things that he cares about. But obsession would mean that's all you think about. That how do I get more power? How do I get more opportunity to use my power? How do I hurt people with my power? How do I help myself with my power? I don't think that's what Elon is doing. And then in psychology, it's associated with delusions of grandeur. I don't think he's deluded about his grandeur. I think he's got a very healthy ego and recognizes what he's capable of accomplishing and then goes out and does it. And we would have a much wealthier world if everybody had a clear idea of what their capabilities were and then applied them and executed at a level which was coincident with their own capabilities. Think about that personally, not you, Leslie. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about everybody. What are you really capable of? Are you working up to your levels of capabilities, or are you like too timid to go out and really do what it is that you have the power to do? Or opposite, are you truly a megalomaniac? Are you shooting for the stars when you really are only capable of making $100,000 a year or $60,000 a year? Maybe that's what you're really capable of doing. And you're always going out there and trying to do the thing that you can't do, that isn't in your skill set or in your, even, in your, like, I'm never going to go look for a job as an artist. Nobody wants me on their team when we play Pictionary, believe me. Okay, Mega Wilderness, one of my most regular responders in my YouTube videos. He says, it is just a question of time before he treats his customers the same way he treats his staff. He's talking about Elon Musk, of course. Well, okay. I believe that he believes that the best way to treat your staff is to treat them with tough love. That's a really nice way to put it. But I think he believes on a stronger level than I do that you want to make sure that your people are living up to their capabilities, and the ones that can't do the job, it's better for them to leave. I can't tell you how many times I've had an exit interview with an employee and I've said, this is not a good fit for you. I wish there was a way that we could use you because I like you, but I think you're way better than staying here. I bet you're going to go out when you leave here today, you're going to go out and you're going to get a better job, and you're going to call me back in a couple of months and you're going to say, Randy, you're right. I wasn't a good fit. I'm making more money. I like my job better. I'm happier. And it happened all the time. Elon doesn't go through that exit interview. He just sees that the person isn't a good fit. They aren't working out that well for his company. He says, goodbye. Okay. It's not working for us. So yes, that's a harsher way to do it. Is it a meaner way to do it? I don't know. You want to call it mean? It's harsh. Yes, it's hard. It's not the way I would do it. But he also does the opposite. He pushes people, and he gets amazing results from them. Now, with regard to customers, he's not going to treat his customers badly at all. I see people treating their customers badly all the time who are at low levels, and they're like, oh, the darn customer, if I just didn't have to talk to these darn customers. Oh, the people in the vacation areas. Oh, I hate these snowbirds. Oh my gosh, they just ruin our town, and they're making all their money off of the snowbirds. I'm sorry. I see it all the time. I see it at every level. I see people complaining about their customers all the time. I think Elon loves his customers. I think that's his favorite part of life, is making sure he's doing for them what the best he can possibly do in order to make them feel good about his products and his companies. Okay, this is from Jay Burmiup. JB, I don't know. Jay Burmiup is the best I can do. 8030. Randy, could you elaborate on what you think the Biden administration could do to control and reduce gasoline prices? Well, we did spend a lot of time on that last night. Take a look at the Larry Goldberg video last night. We went into that in great depth. Let me give it to you. 1, 2, 3. Number one, get on the phone, get on the plane, get in front of Saudi Arabia and find a way. Find a way to get Saudi Arabia to reverse their decision. I don't know what that's going to take. I don't care whether it is hammering them. I don't care whether it is cajoling them. I don't care whether it is giving them something that they need in order to do that. You find a way to get Saudi Arabia on board. Find a way to convince Saudi Arabia that this is not in their own best interest long term. Find a way. I'm sorry to say this, but this is what I like best about Trump. Trump would be over there. He'd be hammering. He'd be finding a way. And this is everybody that I know that likes Trump. That's what they like about him. he would not stop until he found a way to get Saudi Arabia to start pumping more oil. Number two, get on the phone and do the same thing with the producers. Admit to the fact that you have been not on their side and that you probably won't be on their side in the future, but that right now you need them to produce. And then find a way to convince them that they need to produce, find a way to cajole them, to encourage them, to sweet talk them, whatever it takes. Get the U.S. producers to produce more. There is capacity in the United States to produce more. Those would be two quick ways. Okay, those would be the fastest ways. Both of those things, and then go out and say it. Go out and tell. That's what I'm doing. I've just gotten off the phone with the Saudis. I am going to work until I find a way for the Saudis to increase their production. I have just gotten off the phone with this guy and this guy and this guy and these different oil companies, and they have promised me that they will increase production. All you have to do is say it. That's what the bully pulpit's for, is when you say it, then the markets go, oh my gosh, they get scared that there's going to be lots of production and the price of oil comes down the next minute. All right. Leslie Quarter, 42.95. Punitive European tariffs on Chinese imports will affect the output from Shanghai. Tesla Model 3 refresh being dumped into the EU to get ahead of the tariffs are likely to attract the attention of EU lawmakers. This will be interesting to see how it plays out. I think it's extremely interesting that the EU has decided to get protectionist on cars, and we'll see what effect that is going to have. It's going to have a devastating effect on the Chinese car makers. Who are just really getting a foothold in Europe. They can't even get the beginning of a foothold in the United States. These Chinese automakers are probably going to have to set up shop in Europe, set up shop in the United States if they want to compete because right now the whole world is getting a lot more protectionist when it comes to this BEV business going forward. And as far as Tesla dumping as many of the Model 3s into Europe as fast as they can right now, that might be true. Don't know. And finally, I do believe that Berlin will be making Model 3s. I believe that forever. I continue to believe it. I think it's just a matter of time, especially because they've been slow walking the Model Y in that factory. So I think they'll take the next line and turn it into a Model 3 line. That's just me. I could be completely wrong on that one. Dan B7274. You are crushing these videos. Of course. Thank you, Dan. Oh, keep up the great work. I will. I'll do my best. My only doubt is on the bot. I doubt that they'll hit 1 million Optimus. He says Optimus. I say Optimi. I doubt they'll hit 1 million Optimi by 2030. Realistically, if it happens, mid-2030s or 40s would be more reasonable. I don't know. This is a very, very common comment that I get, is with regard to the production of the bots. There's only two parts to the bot. Okay, there's the hardware and the software. Either we have good enough software to do it or we don't. This is like an A, or this is not a we might have, or maybe we will have. It either is allowing these robots to do useful tasks or it isn't. It's just as simple as that. I believe the software is already there. It does not have to be full FSD. We don't have to wait until we get to full FSD before it's going to be good enough. No, it's good enough now. And you can see it in other bots that are out there. Other companies have already created bots that are responding to videos, are responding to watching a human do it and then doing it, are responding to the electrodes that are hooked up on the human, and the human does it, and then the bot does it. And all of these things are already happening. So you don't have to have this bot is not going to be going 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. It is not going to be doing things that are dangerous. So yeah, I think that Elon says he's going to be making them starting in November. I think he will be making them in November. And I think that, and then the second part is, how do you ramp up? Well, ramping up on the chip is not going to be that hard. Ramping up on the batteries, that's a no-brainer. They don't take very many batteries. And then ramping up on the actual production of the hardware, I've had, 5 experts, at least maybe four or five experts come on this channel who know way more about it than I do, but I ran a factory for 30 years. There is nothing hard about ramping up this product. And if Elon decided that he wanted to make 10 million in 2025, he could make, I'm telling you, he could make 10 million in 2025. As far as the hardware is concerned, there is nothing hard about the hardware. Tell me what you think is going to be the limiting factor keeping them from making 10 million of these robots in terms of the hardware. in terms of the product. The software, yeah, I think it's going to happen too. But what's the hard part about making the bot? I just don't get it. All right. I get a few folks asking me to let Larry talk more or not interrupt my guests. I take these comments to heart, but part of the job of the interviewer is to keep the flow going. And almost any guest can start going off into the territory that nobody's going to care about. Since I don't edit most of these conversations with my guests, I have to edit on the fly. And that's just the way it is. And I know it's not a good look to interrupt your guest, but it's just, there's no way around it. There's nothing I can do. All right. So be sure to get back and see this morning's video where I share my current estimates for unit sales by factory, give my current estimates for margins and EPS profit, EPS for earnings per share for both quarter 3 and quarter 4. That card is above. Later this week, I will do 2024, I will do 2025 and 2026. Probably the next week or so, I'll do 2027. I haven't done 2027 yet. Haven't even done that myself, much less done a video about it. In fact, I haven't done a video about 2025 either, so that'll be a brand new one. And my 2024 will be, of course, updated based on new information. So what we want to talk about now is hitting like. If you didn't hit like yet, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notify, and then it's time to turn it off now if you already know everything you need to know. There's not going to be any good information. I'm not going to sandbag something at the end just to force you to listen to my Cybertruck bottle opener commercial one more time. Look, these things are selling like crazy. Everybody's loving them. People that are getting them are already starting to send me an email and say, hey, Randy, this is really, really cool. Everybody really thinks it's fun. It will be up on, if you want to buy it on Amazon later today, probably by the end of the day, it will be on Amazon at $29.95. But you can save $5. You can buy it for $25 by just going to paypal.me/Randy Kirk. That would be all lowercase, apparently. And then if you want to join Patreon at the $10 level, you can do that and you get one for free. Now, when you place your order, either way, please indicate, do you want the camo version or do you want the stainless or the plain or the regular? Something. Let me know which one you want. And then if you want more than one, of course, just multiply. So if you want 2, it's 50. If you want 3, it's 75. And then if you're outside the country, you need to add another $20 to the entire order because it just cost me that kind of money to ship them outside of US zip codes. So there you go. That's what you need to do. If you want to get one of these, I would be thrilled to have you support the channel. You're supporting me so wonderfully just by watching the videos. You support me wonderfully by the comments, which help me to make the decisions about the show going forward. I feel loved and appreciated. It's great. I love my job. And then if you happen to join Patreon and or hit me with some money down on YouTube or buy one of those wonderful bottle openers, so much the better. Helps even more. Thank you so much for watching. It's been great talking to you. If you don't mind, I do want to pitch my little device here. I have these little devices for $25. You can't believe how cool this is. Look at how thick the stainless. I mean, holy mackerel! It comes in. It comes in a camo as well. It's a can opener. I mean, I'm sorry, not a can opener, a bottle opener. So you got your bottle opener here too, and it's got a magnet on the back, so you can slap it up on your fridge. I mean, is this good or what? So anyway, you just send $25 to my PayPal account. It's down in the information below. Just click on there. You can send it 20. Now, if you're out of the country, I got to charge you an extra $20 for freight. So, or if you join my Patreon, I'll give you one at the $10 level. I'll give you one for free.
Click the link below to get your paperback, Kindle, or audiobook now.